Samuel Ramani is an associate fellow at the Royal United Services Institute, RUSI, and joins us now. Samuel, thanks so much for your time. Let's begin with Ukraine. How promising are these latest talks, in your view?
Well, I think that they've done a good job at basically smoothing out some of the areas of disagreement between the United States and Ukraine that festered after that 28-point peace plan came out that was seen to be pro-Russian from the Ukrainian point of view. It now seems as if the United States is largely behind security guarantees for Ukraine of a NATO style. The longevity of them and the depth of the U.S.-backed commitment in terms of personnel and military resources is still yet to be seen, but it does seem as if the U.S. is committed and has a stake in Ukraine's long-term security. On the other hand, it doesn't seem as if the talks between the U.S. and Ukraine and Trump's shuttle diplomacy with Putin is doing anything to move the needle on the Russian side. We saw a statement from the Russian Foreign Ministry basically just 3 days ago saying that there's no change in their overall approach towards the war, and territorial gains for Russia are progressing on a variety of fronts, including Haliopole in Zaporizhia as well as in Seversk in the Donetsk front.
Yeah, Zaporizhia, and of course what to do with the contested land. Big sticking points. Do you think those are going to be very, very difficult to resolve, or are you seeing signs of movement?
Well, I mean, the Russians basically view the Ukrainian proposal for a demilitarization zone on both sides as something of a non-starter right now because they want to take over all of Donbass. So as long as that's the kind of baseline, then I think that there's pretty much stagnation on the issue of territory, which is by far the most important one. When it comes to the Zaporizhia nuclear plant, there's been a temporary IAEA-announced ceasefire between the Russians and the Ukrainians. That only seems to be confined for a couple of days to the restoration of the power line. So once power is restored, that will also be an area where there will be military conflict around it. And the Ukrainians want full ownership. The Russians want to keep it. So I think on both of these issues, there's little progress of a near-term movement in spite of everything that Trump is doing.
Later, we know that Donald Trump is due to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the second phase of the Gaza peace deal, which has always been a tricky issue. What are you expecting?
Well, I think that there is obviously some optimism that the ceasefire in basic terms is going to maintain. However, hundreds of Palestinians have died since the ceasefire has taken effect. We've been seeing winter storms and flooding, worsening humanitarian conditions, and collapsing buildings where the displaced Gazans are being held, restrictions on aid far below required levels, and as well as the struggles towards the demilitarization of Hamas, and the ongoing clashes between Hamas and armed groups, which many Palestinians claimed are being backed indirectly by the Israelis to sow discord. So there's a lot of problems at play. I think that Netanyahu and Trump will basically agree that phase 2 needs to be implemented, but I don't think that Trump is going to push Netanyahu very strongly on additional aid to the Gaza Strip or an improvement in the humanitarian situation. And I think that the overall discussions will be that Netanyahu will say, we have to continue military action because Hamas won't disarm. I think that Trump will go along with that.
All right, thank you so much for that update on both those conflict areas. Samuel Ramani from think tank RUSI.